Hey guys, it's Marissa. We're live. I've got a really cute project for you today. I'll give you a minute to get in here. Let me show you. So it's a little milk carton. Actually, it's kind of a big milk carton, but that's the point. I wanted it big enough to do some kind of fun gift inside. And so let me show you. See, a little cow spotted. Look at that, Max Alvarez watching. Hey, baby. All right, so I made it so that it's reclosable, and inside, look at it, it's like a party inside there. All right, so you pull out the gift. It's a balloon, a noisemaker. Hey, Irene. And in this one, I've got bullseyes, and then I also did this little package of goodies too, with the little cowtails. Let's make sure that one fits. Looks like you guys are getting in here. All right, so this one looks like it's gonna fit, but we're gonna have to like really jam down the party. Get in there, party. I wanted something ever since I saw this Over the Moon Party Till the Cows Come Home. I wanted to do something that really was kind of a party. All right, so the cow tails are a little bit tighter squeeze than the bullseyes. Trying to put them in kind of on a diagonal. Okay, maybe for this one, if you're going to use the cowtails, you might want to just put them in without the bag. Let's see here. Well, we're getting in here. We'll talk about that. All right, so let me show you a couple of things here first. Let me put this back together, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I used. I'm late today because I fell down a rabbit hole. If you guys know me, you know how easily I fall down a rabbit hole. I fell down a rabbit hole. I made the box, and then I said, oh my gosh, it needs a party inside of there. And I was running late anyways and kind of panicky. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy myself a little time and say I'm going to be a little late. And then I ran over to the Dollar Tree because you can't do Party Till the Cows Come Home and not fill it up with a party, right? Okay. I'm sorry. This is like so typical me. You guys are getting to know me better today. That's all. All right, so here's the party inside. Little... I got my fringed squawkers, they're called, from the Dollar Tree. It's just a assorted package. You get 12 for $1. And then I bought polka dot balloons, again from the Dollar Tree. You skip these if you're afraid of a latex allergy. But we'll need one of those. All right, let's grab one of these squawkers. I want to see if we... Then I got... My Dollar Tree seems to either carry the caramel creams, you know, little bullseyes, or the cowtails. I never can find both at the same time at my Dollar Tree. So I got these today. Could not find these at all, but I had some already at home. And thought, okay, I'd try both. But this one we're going to grab some of these little cowtails. I think I like the idea of the cowtails if we can make them fit better than the... bullseyes, because you might not need the bag, but you can also get, if you put 3 or 4 in a box, you can get about, if you put 3 pieces, you can get 3.5 party boxes out of one bag, and so that's kind of cool. I guess you could put both. All right, so let's see here. So Party Till the Cows Come Home, that's all connected to the little clip, and then our decoration, our milk carton. All right, so if say we just did it as like Party Till the Cows Come Home, and we just drop this stuff in there. Oh, we could totally do that with these. Oh, look, I have 3 of these too. So you don't have to use the bags. I guess you could just kind of fill up the milk carton. Now I've got cowtails and bullseyes in there, and those fit fine. So what did I put in there? 3 cowtails, 3 bullseyes, a noisemaker, and a balloon. All fit in there. And then close it up with a little clip. Now, these little white clips are the clips that they used on our pillow gifts from the cruise. I was like, I need something to do with those. So that's how the milk carton idea kind of came to fruition. All right, so to make this milk carton, you will need Stampin' Up! Over the Moon stamp set. This is new in the 2019-2020 annual catalog. Pairing it up like so many demonstrators with love what you do for these watercolor splotches. They make great cow spots. So those are our stamp sets today. I've got some punches over here. Let's take a look at that. I've got my tailored tag punch. I've almost always got that. If you see a dovetail, I've got a tailored tag punch. Got the little Twinkle Builder, which I think is the perfect pair with Over the Moon. I think if you're going to own one, you kind of have to own the other. All right, let's move that aside. I've also got a 1.5 inch circle punch. I've got some ink for this project is Memento Tuxedo Black. And then my Stampin' Blends, I have the Ivory, Light Flirty Flamingo. This should be the light basic black, light basic black, and then the dark smoky slate. Those are my colors for my cow. And then for paper, I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here, and it is 8 inches by 10.5 inches. So you need nearly a full sheet of Whisper White for this tall carton. Barb says, ooh, I wondered where those cow splotches came from. There you go. I don't know. I got this stamp set when it was part of like that big Mega Sweet deal, the Love What You Do. So the cow splotches came from here. And I used it a lot when I first got it, but then it just sat on the shelf until Over the Moon came along. Isn't it funny how we creative minds repurpose things? All right, then I've got pretty simply here. Hold on, let me grab this. Right, you guys really loved the chart that I did with the stitched rectangle. So I'm working on one for each of the layering shapes, the circles, squares. So I'll have this all labeled with A through E and what sizes they are. And then I'll take a picture and put it on the blog. Maybe I'll make a little resource for that. But I've got the layering circle, and this would be C, which is 2 3/8. And then I've got the coordinating scallop, which is C, and that would be 2.5. All right, so those two are already cut for us. And then I've got a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is the In Color. This is Pretty Peacock, and it's 2x4. And then you just need some scraps. Daffodil Delight and Whisper White. The Daffodil Delight's got to be just big enough for the Twinkle Builder punch. So 2.5 by 3.5 is sufficient. And then the Whisper White scrap has to be big enough just for that 1.5 inch circle. So you need enough to hold on to. So I don't know, 2 by 2, 1.5 inch circle needs to come out of that. 2 by 2 should be big enough. All right, so those are our paper consumables. Let's look at the ribbon. If I used a bag for my party supplies inside, I tied it off with this 3/16 inch braided linen trim because I thought it tied nicely back to the outside of the box. And then I used my Pretty Peacock scallop ribbon. This is the linen scallop ribbon. I think that's all of the supplies that we need. We're gonna grab the Simply Scored tool and work on our box scoring right now. Let me show you this also. All right, so this is the template that I made up for this tall milk carton. I'm gonna go ahead and photograph this, and it'll be on the project sheet, and all the measurements and exactly where to score, where to put your adhesive. You'll notice on this one, when you see this, you're going to see a little arrow on this tab. You're going to see tear and tape adhesive on this tab. So this means put the tear and tape adhesive on this side. And this is flip up and put the tear and tape adhesive, okay? So you're going to see a picture of this on the printable project sheet that'll be available later on the blog. All right, so we've got our paper, our Whisper White cardstock, and we've got our Simply Score tool. Let's do some scoring here. Don't worry about writing it all down or following along. The template and all the instructions. The video, I'll edit it down a little bit and put it on the blog so you don't have to scramble to get the measurements. I'll have them all ready for you to print or the video ready for you to rewatch if you want to work along with me later on. All right, so then we're going to start with our cardstock in the 10.5-inch side, and we'll score at 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10. Okay, then we're going to turn it so that this tab here, this glue tab, is at the bottom. So rotate right 1/4 of a turn. It's important for everything to line up right and have the top of your milk carton on the top and the bottom on the bottom. All right, and then we're going to score again 2.5, 5, and 7.5. All right, following me so far? Everybody hanging on? Don't worry, I'll have the video and project sheet for you. All right, now we've put it back into this 10.5 orientation, and we're gonna score at 3 3/4, but we're only gonna score down until we hit that 1/2-inch score line we just made. Do you see that? Okay, Irene's following along with me, awesome. And then we're gonna slide down to 8 3/4 and do the same thing. Just stop when you hit that first score line. All right, now we can take it out of the Simply Score, and we need a ruler. We're gonna take our ruler and line up this score line right here where these horizontal and vertical score line meet for the point, and we're gonna connect it to this very first corner over here, see? So we'll take our ruler and line it on those 2 points, and then using the thin end of our stylus, you can use your Take Your Pick tool or you can use the one from the Simply Scored. You're going to connect those two with a diagonal score. So if you look here, this is going to be a little bit easier to see. This is where you're connecting. That's why this diagram will really help when you're making this milk carton. So you're going to continue, you're going to connect these points and then these points. All right, let me do that really quick. So same thing here, we're going from the point we just made down to the corner. We're gonna make it a nice smooth triangle, smooth. All right, now, while I'm connecting these points, I'm going to tell you about Camp Wanna-Stamp. This project really coordinates well with Camp Wanna-Stamp. Go to kitchentablestamper.com, click the Camp Wanna-Stamp tab on the top of the blog. Not now, when I'm done. Come on, people, don't all leave. And you can learn all about Camp Wanna-Stamp. We have an animal science badge. I'll show you those projects, and this project coordinates perfectly with animal science. So, to sweeten the deal, Camp Wanna-Stamp is $68, and you're going to make 13 projects. You can technically make a lot more than 13 projects because you get a package of the note cards that we're making and designer series papers. You can make as many note cards as you want to. Anyways, if you order Camp Wanna-Stamp this weekend, all you have to do for that is email me, Marissa, at kitchentablestamper.com. Let me know that you want to register. I'll send you a PayPal link. If you register this weekend, I'm going to include this project kit with your Camp Wanna-Stamp, so you'll get an extra project. I won't include the candy though because I'm afraid it'll melt, but I'll include the balloon, the noisemaker, and everything you need, paper and supplies-wise, to make this Camp Wanna-Stamp this project with Camp Wanna-Stamp. Little bonus just for signing up this weekend. All right, so all I'm doing now is I'm taking my snips and I'm cutting out that very last little rectangle. You'll see that I cut an angle cut, like a little miter cut, and then cut off that last piece. And then I'm going to cut right here at a small angle. Now that's all we're going to do until after we stamp our spots. Let me tell you, part of the reason why I'm late is because I worked all those score lines and then stamped my spots, and they looked horrible because when you stamped over these, you couldn't get a good image. So learn from my mistake and leave it alone here. We're going to stamp with our spots. So what I did was I put both spots on a block, going to love it. All right, so I've protected my Stampin' Pierce mat. I've got my Memento ink pad. My spots are on one block. All right, so I've got these big Post-it notes. They're advertisements. They're like 5 by 7, maybe a 3.5 by 5. I don't know. Are these bigger than a card? These are probably more like 5 by 7. And I stuck them together, and I'm going to go along the bottom of my box here. So what I have is a nice masked clean line. So the bottom of my box will be white with no spots. And I like the contrast of these gussets have no spots. So if you want to, you can go ahead and just stamp spots all over this whole piece, and your box will be spotted everywhere. But I wanted to have that contrast and that clean line. So I've got my Post-it note, and I'm also going to mask this gusseted side right here with a Post-it note. See that? So pretty simple. And now I'm just going to go ahead and spot my box. And I'll just ink up with the Memento, and you're not going to get perfect coverage over those scores, but trust me, if you don't fold them, you're going to get much better image. All right, Patty loves this project. Thank you, Patty. And you see, I'm just going to turn the stamp every time I stamp it and get that cow pattern. It's really, you want it to be really random. You can add a little extra pressure where you know that there's a score line and take a little extra time. You'll get closer. But if you look at my finished one, the corners are sometimes white. But it's okay. The overall, you're not going to notice. Okay? All right, so we're just going to keep on stamp and flip until you fill in the section. Now, because this is a little bit of a process, I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to bring in this one that's almost done. All right, we're going to do that same thing. Let's grab our Post-its. So imagine that we've stamped all along here. Now I want to keep my gussets white, so I'm going to put my Post-it note, and I want to keep this gusset white, so I'm going to put my Post-it note. And I'm just going to finish filling in here. I'm going to leave this part white too. You can mask off as much as you want to, or like I said, go ahead and just stamp over the entire sheet. Then your whole box would be cow polka dot. That's up to you. I like the way that it looks when it's filled in like this. Good? Everybody following with me? All right, so we've got our stamping done. Now we can go ahead and work our score lines and liberate our tabs, make our box here. So I'm gonna get my bone folder. Oh, you know what? This one doesn't have that little cutout that we did. Now, we're gonna work these. I always work inside out and then right side in. It makes your crease cleaner on the outside, on the good side of the project. That's why I do it. I know it takes a little bit longer, but I think it gives you a better overall finish. So bear with me here. I'm going to turn it inside out. And the reason why is, oh, this isn't illustrating it perfect. Do you see how the folds here, the paper fibers cracked? Now that happened on the inside of my box because I folded it inside out and then right side in. So it's just a precautionary, so you get a nice clean crease on the outside. Okay, so we've worked all of our creases here. Let me just work this one to the outside. Now we're going to cut out the scores at the bottom. This is where I say we're going to liberate our tabs. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting the smallest little dart out of here. I just cut the score line right out. It's not just straight up. I cut just a little bit out. See that? That gives you a clean bottom, a nice fold without any extra hanging off of the edges. And it gets rid of that paper that's been kind of stretched. And this is what you want here. Let's get our tear and tape adhesive and add that on. So for tear and tape, you're going to go down the long tab here, all the way top to bottom. Okay, now like the template says, let me show you again so that when you see the picture you'll know. Like the template says, on the second one, you're going to flip up and add the tear and tape adhesive. All right, so let's do that. We're going to flip this one up and add the tear and tape here. This is the same procedure that I did for my little box for the Stampin' Anonymous tutorial. I did a little gift bag for Stampin' Anonymous for August, which means you'll receive it in early September. And I find if you add your adhesive on the tab, the long tab and the last tab, and then flip up on the front tab, you can bring the front tab down into the back of the box, and then you've got a nice clean front. There's no seam here, here, or here to be seen on the front. All right, so that's what we're making. Now let's go ahead and put it together. To put this dude together, the first adhesive you're going to remove is the long side tab, and then fold it in. You see? Now you'll take your last panel and fold together and just adhere those. There's your box. Now this is the back of your box with the seam. This is the side of your box with the gusset. So the next thing you want to do here is fold in the sides. You see how your back has this adhesive tab here? You're going to peel that one off, fold it down, and then this adhesive tab, you're going to pull this one and fold it back. So the seam now is on the back of the box here and here. When you go to the front, everything's nice and clean. Clear? All right. Now, this little tab, or this little score line here, we're going to push in on that little score line on both sides and work these diagonal score lines that you made. See? So push in and then work the score line. And there is your little milk carton. Ah, cute! Oh my gosh. I can't even stand it. Violet, grab me another clip out of the drawer. I didn't get one. All right, so we're gonna put our party in there. Got the little bullseyes, balloon, little fun party noisemaker. Gotta really tuck that party in. And then we're gonna clip it closed. Now, I'm using this little library clip. It's a white one that they gave us from in the cruise. You can use the old library clips, the gold ones. I don't know if they're still in the catalog, or the binder clips that we used to have in all the different in colors. So a clothespin will work there. We could talk about how cute that is all day long, but let's not. Let's make it cuter. All right, so my tailored tag punch, my designer shears paper. Because I'm just that way, you see there's script on the back. So we're gonna just, even though it's in the back, we're gonna make sure that the script is going the right direction. And then we're gonna punch the front, just a little dovetail there. I see some hearts. Irene says cute, thank you. All right, this one. Okay, let's see how much I can move this over and still keep it in the view. There you go, so you can kind of keep an eye on what we're making. All right, now I need my cow. I'm doing this dude because, let's face it, party till the cows come home. Looks like the cows coming home, right? And I've got my circle, Whisper White. I need my Memento, which I've lost. Here we go. Memento, Tuxedo Black ink. And let's stamp a cow. I did some pretty simple coloring, just a couple of colors here. I kind of like the neutral of it. It really looks like a cow, and I think that you can give this little milk carton to anybody. This can go to a woman or a man. I think if you brightened up the background paper, be good for our kids too. Although, do we really want our kids to party till the cows come home? I think it's an adult prerogative. Maybe this is more of an adult gift. Okay, I'm going to pull up a chair real quick and do some very simple Stampin' Blend coloring. You could, at this point, just use your light basic black if you want to. I'm going to go for a little bit of shading. Let me make sure I got a good... Yeah, you guys can see good. It's hard for me to tell when I'm sitting down. I'm going to color in the spots with the light, or excuse me, with the dark smoky slate. And then I'm going to bring in the light basic black. If you just took basic black on this, it would look blacked out. It would look like a missing tooth is what it would look like. It would just be blacked out. And so that's not the way to go. But if you did want to just color in without any shading, go for your light basic black. You could, or if you wanted to go color in without shading, maybe your dark smoky slate without the shading. But it goes really pretty quickly. All I'm doing is going down kind of one end of the spots. Yikes, with the darker shade. So I fill in with the dark smoky slate, go down the edge of the spot, and then just bring it together with the light. I shouldn't say light because it's really dark and then light because I'm using the light basic black, but if you're looking at the two, they're not, the gray is definitely the lighter of the two, even though it's the dark. Know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I'm rambling. All right, so for the hooves, same thing. I'm just going down the back of the hoof and across the bottom with the light basic black, and then bring the light basic black into the dark smoky slate to blend. And this is all the blending I'm doing on here. If you're making a bunch of these, you might want to just color them in with the light black. And then hair. I love that hairdo. Cow's so slick. Of course, party until the cows come home. And then I'll just go along the bottom and then along the bottom there and at the very close to the head and the ears. And then bring it all together. See, not much to it. Then for cow's face, I've got ivory. You could use petal pink here too. The petal pink is a little brighter, a little more orange. And here we're just coloring in little circles so that you don't have any streaks. It's hard to get streaks. You have to try really hard to get streaks with Stampin' Blends. That's the nice part about them, even if you are just coloring in. And then the udders. It's got udders, and I called it a dude earlier. I didn't need to draw attention to that, did I? That's light flirty flamingo inside the nostrils. Karen says, so stinking cute. April says, super cute. You could fill it with Milk Duds. Absolutely. Okay, so I was in the Dollar Tree, and I was looking for, you know, something cool to put inside of it because I couldn't have Party Till the Cows Come Home without a party in there. So I knew I was going to do like a noisemaker, a balloon, and then some sort of like candy or treat. And I saw out of the corner of my eye little yellow boxes. I'm like, Milk Duds, how cute. It was sugar babies. So I was thinking kind of along that line too, but it was sugar babies. I got punked. All right, so there's some dimensionals on our cow, and we're going to just center the image in the scallop. Now, because it's not going in an envelope, it's a treat, let's get really crazy with our bad selves. And we're going to put some dimensionals on the designer series paper. Now here I put the dimensionals on the designer series paper instead of on the back of our medallion, because you cannot put dimensionals all the way on the edges, otherwise it'd stick out. So for me, it's just easier than trying to remember to put the adhesive down the center. I put the adhesive on the narrower piece and then adhere the wider piece, and I don't ever have any exposed adhesive. Just a little tip. Have you ever done that where you were putting something wider on top of something narrow and then got crazy with the adhesive and then all the adhesive was sticking out the sides? Don't ask how I know. I don't know anything about that. All right, so there's our little banner. Now, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but for placement of the stars, I found it easier to get pleasing placement if I glued them on after. So I'm going to go ahead and clip my little banner to my milk carton. Linen thread. Let me grab the Twinkle Builder and some Daffodil Delight cardstock. I'm just trying to get all those little pieces. Tap them off. I need my memento again. And party till the cows come home. We're going to stamp that on a scrap. Thank you. And we'll punch out the sentiment with a 1.5 inch circle punch. And you want it in the upper right by a little bit so that you have room here for your moon and here for the hole to make it a tag. All right, so here's my pretty peacock scallop trim. Linda loves those clips. Aren't they great? I wish they would have made them available for us to purchase after they teased us with such greatness on the cruise. I don't even know if the gold library clips are still available. I think they retired. So you might have to get creative or dig into your retired product for a clip to close the milk carton. But with the other ones, remember the in color binder clips and the ones that went with that birthday suite from the Occasions catalog? Those clips would be awesome for this too. So you might really have some in your retired stash. Some clips that'll work. All right, so I'm tying a bow out of this pretty peacock scallop stuff, and you can see that the last tail comes out backwards. That's what happens with a single-sided ribbon when you tie a bow with single-sided ribbon. So once you've got it almost all finessed, you got the bow pretty much where you like it, then you can take that backside, that tail, and turn it right side up, and then pull the loops, and see, it brings everything front-sided. Michelle Sweet says, "Hey ladies, stinking cute as always. How's Olive?" Well, while I'm finishing my bow here, for those of you who don't know, Olive is my awesome fish. I sat with Michelle on the Greek Isles cruise at dinner, and I was so afraid that my kids were going to forget to feed my fish. And my fish is a brown little feeder fish. It wasn't even a pretty little goldfish. It was one at a carnival. And so when kids bring home animals, mommy gets a pet. So mommy got a pet, a fish, a feeder fish called Olive. But Olive is like major spunky. You walk in the room and Olive like swims to the edge of her bowl and starts blowing bubble noises at you and like follows you back and forth across the room and begs for food. And like, so she's really got a place in my heart, right? And I was afraid that the kids weren't going to feed her. So I set up a chart where each of the kids could see the chart, and it said morning and night, and had a box for every day we were gone for the kids to fill in their initials so I could see who was feeding Olive. And so the answer is Olive is awesome. She's alive and well and as spunky as ever. And the kids did remember to feed her. Every box on my chart was filled in with somebody's initials. Okay, so I've got a little 1/8 inch circle punch here, and we're just going to make this a tag. There's my bow, and I'm going to use mini glue dots and just adhere it to my clip. If you were using like a binder clip kind of clip, like the ones from the Retired in Colors, you could actually tie it onto the binder clip. This one is a little bit narrow here to try to fit the ribbon through, so I'm just putting it on with a mini glue dot. So here's our project moving right along, right? Michelle says, "Yay, I'm so relieved." Oh, I'm glad you were concerned about my sweet little Olive. All right, let's do the rest of this tag. So we got our little moon here. Let's turn it over, and we're gonna add some little half mini dimensionals. It's gonna really make your moon tag kind of fancy. We're gonna bump it up. So we'll put a little Stampin' Dimensionals. I've been taking a lot of calcium and vitamin D to help my leg heal, and it's really made my nails grow. That, and I've been using Nail Envy from OPI. Maybe that's doing it too. But it really makes it harder to get the backs off of the dimensionals when your nails are a little longer. Okay, so I got my little moon. Let's go ahead and pop that up so that it kind of frames the sentiment. Am I in the picture? Yeah. All right, so there's our tag. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. How cute is this? All right, linen thread. I didn't show you that at the beginning. I do have a little bit of linen thread to attach this tag. And you want to thread the linen thread through the tag. And then all I did was just lift the bow and bring around, and I just tied it right on here with another little bow. I did a bow on top of a bow. Does anybody think that's dorky? What do you guys think about that? It worked, but I had my doubts about it as I was doing it. I think it turned out all right though. So I'm just gonna tie this guy right on there. Oh, I got a little heart, so you guys don't mind the bow on top of the bow? All right, I'm gonna pull the tails. I don't want it to be too in your face, just a little bow. You can probably put it on with a knot or even a thread knot and let it dangle a little bit more. All right, cut the tails, liberate it from the spool. Pretty cute, huh? All right, now, Pam says the bow on bow is cute. Good, I'm glad that you guys like it, because we're about to double down on it. Are you ready? Now I've got some multi-purpose liquid glue, and where we tied that little bow, at the center on the knot, I'm gonna put a little dab of multi-purpose liquid glue, and then I'm gonna take one of these bitty little stars, I almost called it a heart, and stick it right on the little knot. Linda likes the bow on the bow too. Oh, I see lots of little hearts. Okay, now, last step. I'm going to take my biggest star from the Twinkle Belter, put a little multi-purpose liquid glue on. Ooh, camera didn't want to focus that close. And put it right off the edge of the tab there, see? Then I got kind of a medium-sized star here. We might need to punch a couple more. No big deal. Gotta put a little dot of glue where we want that star to land. And then I need some help here. I'm gonna get my Take Your Pick tool, little putty, and then drop that right on the glue. All right, now I'm going back to my Twinkle. Got this crazy scrap, no problem. You can make a lot of stars out of this, so just keep going once you got it. There. See, so these are the 3 stars I'm looking for, using that same scrap. And then I put one little star kind of off the edge of the box here. You want it almost completely on the box so it doesn't get knocked off. You see, one of its little arms is hanging over. And then I'm going to put one next to the cow here. Where's my Take Your Pick tool? It's going to just stick right to my thumb. So much tighter with the Take Your Pick tool. All right, so there we go. We did it. Party till the cows come home. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging with me.